And our very first story, former President John Dramani Mahama has described as a betrayal the outcome of the secret ballot by Parliament confirming the President's nominees for ministerial positions. The Appointments Committee could not recommend the approval of the nominees on consensus, compelling the House to vote to decide the fate of the ministers designates. The approvals implied that Adansi Asokwa MP Katie Hammond will fully become the Minister of Trade and Industry after he's sworn into office by President Akufo-Addo, with the Member of Parliament for Nshaesu, Dr. Stephen Armah, deputizing him in that particular regard. Same applies to Brian Echampon, Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture. Stephen Asamoah Boateng, Minister Designate for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Mr. Osei Bonsu Amwa, who is the Minister of State Designate at the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, as well as Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, the Minister of State Designate at the Ministry of Finance. We'll be hearing from the former president shortly. But first, an aide to the former president, Felix Kwasi, describes as untenable some reasons behind some of the NDC MPs who voted for the nominees.
The constituents who put the MPs in power or put them in parliament expect that they will be represented. And you and I know, without even any scientific research, at least if the commentary that has been done publicly by various sections of our people is anything to go by, you know that people are very, very much opposed to the way that this government is bloated, and therefore expected that the MPs would act in a manner that was consistent with their aspirations and expectations if President Akufo-Addo would not do what he has to do. But unfortunately, they were let down by a handful of our MPs. But if you check the pattern of voting, an overwhelming majority of our MPs voted against the ministerial nominees, which then suggests that the NDC as a corporate body, as an entity, cannot be said to support the misrule and misgovernance that is going on. It is the case that we have a few faith columnists who do not appear to understand that it is not in the interest of the country, and I'm not saying the NDC, because really this is not a case where the NDC is simply deciding to do politics by frustrating government on a legitimate exercise. This is an instance where the NDC is aligning with the general sentiment of the Ghanaian people. But a few people let us down.
Meanwhile, the Director of Communications of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiangba, says that the outcome is a manifestation of democracy at work.
Then I am looking differently at the outcome of that election to approve the ministers yesterday, differently from what Felix is saying. I think Felix is angry about the outcome, but it shouldn't be. Democracy in its fullness was manifested yesterday, where people, in my view, voted their conscience. Now, he can, the NDC and Felix can think that, oh, it's a betrayal, but is it also the case that the people thought that it was wrong? That in spite of all the interventions and the proposals government is made to cut expenditure, which is carried most of it in the budget before Parliament, to say we are doing this and that to cut expenditure. Then the one fixation of the NDC, which for me is political. It is patronizing to the people of Ghana to say that we want you to cut the size of government, else you are not doing anything to control expenditure. It's not just not true.
In related developments, the Chief Executive Officer of the Kufuor Foundation, Professor Bawku Ejimandia, says that he's also not surprised about the outcome.
Right now, there may be that kind of feeling by people who are very much alert to the issues that we are discussing. But so far, I am not familiar with any study that will indicate that because of a certain misbehavior, so to speak, in Parliament, therefore the electorate as a whole will be turned against that particular party. I don't think that is the case. I think that, first of all, this connects to what my friend Mr. Kwachi Ofosu said earlier, putting the blame on the electorate for what has happened by electing President Akufo-Addo. But the fact is that is the politicians who present themselves to the electorate, and based on their presentation, the electorate makes the decision. That's number one. So, and of course, in addition to that, we have created structures that beyond elections, we also expect these structures to work. And one of them being the structure of political parties in parliament. So the expectation of the opposition, therefore, is perhaps to carry on what perhaps the electorate will expect in terms of check and governance. But in this case, clearly, we find that that did not take place. When the party decides to keep them in line, well, they have a job to do, but ultimately, it's these individuals who are going to decide. So if they decided against what the party's position has been, I think certainly we are disappointed, but I don't think it's an act of betrayal.
Okay.
Maybe they serve their confidence.
All right. Meanwhile, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has been speaking about this particular development, and my colleague Samuel Mbura brings us up to speed with what the former president has been saying via Zoom. Samuel, what has the president been articulating following this development within his party? Hello, Samuel, if you can hear me. All right, we're still trying to connect with Samuel, who will be serving us with details of what the former president has been saying regarding this particular issue. We've also learned that the minority leader in Parliament, Dr. Kesel Atuforsen, has also been commenting on the matter on his Facebook page. I believe we can now speak to Mbura. Yes, Samuel Mbura, I was asking, what is the president, the former president, what has he been saying concerning this development? All right, Mbura, bring us up to speed with what the former president has been saying concerning the matter.
Right, Schandorf. He says that those responsible for this betrayal must do some serious soul searching and learn to place national interest over personal interest. He says it is equally disappointing that the president's refusal to seize the opportunity to realign and downsize his bloated government when the NDP flag bearer hopeful and the chieftaincy minister resigned. Clearly, in this time of crisis and excruciating hardship, President Akufo-Addo, his MPP administration, and some of our MPs are out of tune with the mood of the Ghanaian people. According to him, he still believes, as he said in Ho recently, that in this time of crisis, government can still run efficiently with not more than 60 ministers. He said that for our grassroots members and Ghanaians who are disappointed by this insensitivity, I urge you not to despair. 2024 offers us an opportunity to work hard to defeat this reckless government that seeks to destroy our democracy and the very livelihoods of Ghanaians. An opportunity for us to work and build the Ghana we all want from January 7, 2025.
Right. Apart from these comments coming from the former president, John Dramani Mahama, we also know that the minority leader in Parliament, Dr. Kesel Atuforsen, has also been commenting on the matter. What has he been saying in that regard?
So he wrote on his official Facebook page saying that to say I am profoundly disappointed with the outcome of yesterday's proceeding is an understatement. While it is true that we did not achieve the desired reduction in the number of ministers under this government, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the over 100 NDC MPs who worked tirelessly to represent the will of the majority of the Ghanaian people. These MPs have demonstrated their unwavering commitment to the betterment of our society. Their tireless efforts to push for a reduction in the number of ministers are a testament to their dedication to our shared cause. While the outcome may not have been what we had hoped for, I believe we can still work together to achieve our goals. I remain hopeful that by continuing to engage in constructive dialogue and collaboration, we can find a way forward that benefits all Ghanaians. He ends the statement by saying that once again, I want to express my disappointment, but I'm also grateful for the effort of those who worked to represent our collective vision for a better Ghana. Let us continue to strive towards a brighter future.
All right, thank you very much, Mbura, for bringing us up to speed with those two statements. So the very first one was the reaction of the former president, John Dramani Mahama, as well as that of the minority leader, Kesel Atu Forson. Let's still stay in Parliament, where the House also approved the nomination of Justice George Kingsley Kumsin and Justice Yao Gewu as justices of the Supreme Court. President Akufo-Addo made the nominations in July 2020 to fill up expected vacancies at the Apex Court.
Honourable members, now results. Total vote cast 272. Total vote cast, I repeat, 272. 3 members did not turn up to vote. Justice George Kingsley Kumsin. The ayes got 139. The noes have 133. No rejected vote. Nobody also abstained. Now, Justice Ernest Yao Jau. The ayes 138. And the noes 134. No vote was rejected and nobody abstained. Honourable members, with this House has accordingly approved the nomination of His Excellency, the President of the following persons as justices of the Supreme Court in accordance with Article 1442 of the 1992 Constitutions. The persons are Justice George Kingsley Kumsin and Justice Ernest Yao Gewu. Honourable members, I believe on behalf of the House, let me congratulate the 2 nominees of the President into the Supreme Court of Ghana. Honourable members, I believe we will bring proceedings to a close. Honourable members, you will.
Now, the National Health Insurance Authority is set to receive some $6.7 million to expand its coverage and boost its operations. The Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, also believes that the gesture would help in the delivery of quality healthcare across the country. There's more in the following report.
The quality of healthcare in parts of the country is generally lagging behind as government struggles to provide funds to strengthen healthcare delivery and expand membership coverage. As part of government's plan to achieve universal health coverage by 2030, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is committing to provide $6.73 million to strengthen the national health insurance system. Dr. Bernard Okoboy is the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority.
We are here this afternoon to let you know that this partnership, the phase 2, is just about to commence. And key in the partnership has to do with engaging in activities that will guarantee quality of service when you visit the over 3,000 facilities that are accredited by the NHIS. We do a lot of what we call credentialing, we call quality audits. And these audits are done by the NHIS with the support of USAID Ghana.
The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, charged the government to ensure the sustainability of National Health Insurance Scheme.
The importance of ensuring the sustainability of that program and its expansion, and critical to that is a sort of steady inflow of funding. So I'm very happy that the Ministry of Finance is here. And we talked about how that is working now and how transparency about how those flows are occurring, and you'll talk more about that soon, is very important.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Osei-Asare, added that government is adopting various measures to reset the economy.
Government has adopted the post-COVID-19 program for economic growth called the PCPEG, anchored on a 7-point agenda. The first is to aggressively mobilize domestic revenue. Second, to streamline and rationalize our expenditures and to cut down some of these expenditures that some of our own ambassadors and foreign partners are asking us to look at. Again, government is also boosting local productive capacity, which is very, very necessary for our recovery.
A report by Prince Osuansa read to you.
Now, the Managing Director of the German Automotive Technology, Dr. Gabi Eben, is entreating Ghanaians to protect the environment by using quality fuel with less emissions. Speaking at a symposium to sensitize their customers on the new fuel products introduced by the German Automotive Technology and JP trustees, Dr. Eben said that the products would not only protect the vehicles of their customers, but the environment as well. There's more on the following report.
The symposium was organized by JP Trustees, one of the leading retailers of high-quality fuel products in Ghana, in collaboration with their German counterpart, German Automotive Technology, manufacturers of fuel additives and a wide range of auto-related products. The event was aimed at giving customers and stakeholders an in-depth understanding of JP fuel offering powered by cutting-edge additive GAT300 from the German Automotive Technology. The managing director of the German Automotive Technology, Dr. Gabi Eben, says the additive products are not only aimed at protecting vehicles of their customers, but also the environment.
Beautiful country, you have such a beautiful environment, and it's really needed to protect this environment and this beautiful landscape. And emissions, we care a lot about emissions and the environment. So I was telling this in a last interview, we are now focused on the benefits for the customer, for the car owner, which is more commercial. We say earn more, burn less. But the huge effect is for the climate, is for the environment, because we reduce emissions by far. Then less you burn, then less emissions you cause. So, and GAT itself in Germany, we are involved in a lot of projects about fuels which cause less emissions. Our goal is zero emissions in the future. So we work on e-fuels, and we have some e-fuel projects with German universities. So this is our goal. And
Business Promotion Manager of JP Oil, Joshua Larby, says their products are the best for vehicle in Ghana because of the additives added, which protects the vehicle.
There are two messages we want to get out there. Burn less, okay, burning less, and then driving or getting more mileage at a very efficient price. So we want drivers out there to know that this is a product that saves them money and at the same time guarantees quality for their engines, especially when you want to talk about engine efficiency and product efficiency and all that. we believe that this is the best product for you. For our terrain, and considering the quality of the additive that we have infused into our product, we believe that for an industry that's that has a minimum standard of 91, infusing it with additive, as you can see in the demonstrations that we've had in there, these additives are very good for the cars that we have in our type of in our terrain here in Africa. So the additive infused in the product will help to clean and make our engines very efficient.
Some customers of JP Oil who have been using their oil shared their experiences with JoyNews.
If I bought the fuel, it lasts longer and it gives my engine very good sound. Very good sound. Very, very efficiency.
I want to say that we are very grateful for the JP company and the guards, the partnership. Since I started using the JP, especially the Supreme, it has been good for my car, for my engine. I've experienced how faster my car has become, and it's a very quality fuel that they sell.
Let's still stay on the environment, where the Chief Executive Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Elizabeth Saki, has reiterated her support for the Stop Waste Colonialism campaign by the OR Foundation. She spoke at a meeting organized in respect of the campaign. There's more in the following report.
The Stop Waste Colonialism campaign is an active campaign by the OR Foundation against the dumping of second-hand clothing by the global north in most developing countries like Ghana. The town hall meeting seeks to provide a platform for members of Kantamanto market community, allied organizations and the public to learn more about the Stop Waste Colonialism campaign. Co-founder of the foundation, Liz Ricketts, says it is important countries that send used clothes to developing countries like Ghana help to pay for taking care of the waste it generates.
Today we're here to call for Extended Producer Responsibility Policies, EPR, to be globally accountable to fight waste colonialism, meaning that if clothing is going to continue to come to Ghana from outside of this country, Ghana cannot be used as a dumping ground. If clothing is going to continue to come here from other countries, then money should come here as well to support the development of new infrastructure for recycling, to improve the market ecosystem, and to ensure that the people who work so hard in Kantamanto every day are no longer going into debt handling the waste of other countries. Right now, France is the only country that has an EPR policy for textiles, and unfortunately it is a waste colonialism policy. France keeps all of the money in France, but sends 80% of the clothing they collect from their own citizens to the continent of Africa, including here to Ghana. So that is why we are saying that is not fair and that is not an effective policy, because if the money is supposed to go to cover waste management and the waste is ending up here, but the money is not coming here, then that's a problem. So the time frame with France is as soon as possible. We took a delegation of retailers from Kantamanto to France in November to meet with politicians, to meet with the people who are in charge of this policy, and to demand that they change it and that they make reparative payments to Kantamanto and other communities like it immediately.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Elizabeth Nakwacho Tewia Saki, also reiterated her support towards the campaign by the OR Foundation.
And that's the main reason why we're trying to support the OR Foundation. We all know their plight and what they go through, especially when they've opened the bills and they've seen that the goods in it are all not very good, and then they have to think around and see what they can do to get themselves back. Apparently, it's assured that there's no way you can collect the bills from the traders and then open it and turn it back to them, as it has been done in the European countries and others. For here, once bought, forever bought, and that's the slogan here. I think that the market is a very huge one, and it's very useful to everybody, and therefore there's a need for us to assist and support them and see to it that the goods that are brought there are of good quality.
A successful engagement with the global north will see the implementation of the long-term infrastructure improvement necessary to see markets like Kantamanto continue to thrive well into the future as flagship for Ghana's resourceful circular economy. A report by Prince Kwame Kudoga for JoyNews.
The Waste Management Director of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Engineer Solomon Noy, has also called for a ban on the single-use plastics as recycling companies find it very difficult to process them. The indiscriminate dumping of plastic waste into drainage channels leads to a blockage that prevents the free flow of water. He was speaking at the Green Africa Youth Organization conference.
Due to we the citizens, we are part of it. Because person go carry Mbora from house, then can't throw for gutter inside. I be that one no good. We all expect say the government go.
Some traders at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle expressing concerns over a large pile of refuse close to a drainage.
Because nowadays it's now rampant. It's uncontrollable. Yesterday, like the rain like about 5 to 10 minutes. The water was flowing all over.
In there is a cocktail of plastics and other pollutants. Single-use plastics constitute a major component, and in a season where showers can lead to flooding in the major streets of Accra, there's a need to deal with pollution. Plastic waste blocks drainage channels, causing flooding. The head of Accra Metropolitan Assembly Waste Management, Engineer Solomon Noy, says recycling companies find it expensive to process.
The issue of the ban comes in because as an engineer, I know what it takes to process single-use plastics. First, it is not economically viable because you have to aggregate a lot of them to get a chunk of whatever you want to do. And so most aggregators or most companies do not want to go into the venture of processing single-use plastics.
He also added that the Assembly will continue to desilt drains to avert perennial flooding.
Among the very short-term plans that we have in mitigating the issue of floods is to target specific tertiary and secondary drains where we do massive or total desilting.
Water, sanitation and hygiene specialist at UNICEF Samuel Amwanko-Bensa also called for stricter enforcement of waste management regulations.
We have in place as a country the policy framework to deal with many of these issues. Perhaps the issues are around how we execute them to the full. Obviously, there may be factors that mitigate against implementing them to the full, but we have to continue to improve around regulating services, regulating behaviors. Of course, the general public also has a big stake in this and a big role to play.
Now, poor infrastructure and indiscipline among students have been identified as part of the reasons for the persistent poor performance in the Ghana Central municipalities. This came to bear after some head teachers made their observations known to the municipal chief executive, Mohammed Bashiru Kamara. The meeting was to, as it were, engage on how to improve the quality of education within the municipality. There is more on the following report.
The Ghana Central Municipality has been experiencing significant problems like poor academic performance among its students. This has been attributed to lack of basic amenities such as adequate classrooms, textbooks, sanitation facilities, among others. The situation has made it difficult for students to concentrate and learn effectively. Additionally, there were reports of widespread indiscipline. Head teacher of Salvation Army School shared some of the challenges the school faces.
Some of the problems in our schools is one, poor infrastructure. In my school, for instance, we run shifts. And so instead of making 8 hours a day, we make 4 hours, which affects teaching and learning. Apart from that, buying textbooks and exercise books for children, parents are also refusing to buy it. So we find it very difficult to even assess children. They come to school without books and they just come in to sit. And then as a teacher, you do what you can do.
Chief Executive of the municipality, Mohammed Bashiru Kamara, laid out some measures that would be implemented to improve the standard of education in the assembly.
We are going to learn from best practices. Some of the schools have instituted and institutionalized some very good things that are helping them. For instance, Odogono Model School, what they call drop and learn. Early in the morning, the children will go and the first thing they do is to sit and read. That we have institutionalized in the municipality. Each and every public basic school is going to start that. They've made mention of infrastructure problems. We have also agreed that as a follow-up further to this meeting, we are going to have PTA meetings in all public basic schools within the municipality. We are further taking the initiative down to where we meet with all the parents and the teachers of a particular school. Then after that, we pick the issues and then start addressing them one after the other. Some of the issues we can address almost immediately. Others would have to look at the short term and long term. So these are the measures that we are putting in place to ensure that the quality of education in Ghana Central Municipal Assembly is improved.
Municipal Director of Education for Ghana Central, Cynthia Winifred Aku, in an interview indicated that students would be required to write an undertaking for good conduct in order to address the problem of student indiscipline.
Years back, corporal punishment actually helped, where we were punished for the wrongs that we have done. But government policy is saying that we should stop corporal punishment. But I'm thinking that it's not only corporal punishment that is a form of discipline. There are other forms of discipline. The child can write an undertaking, or even that undertaking should be done for all the JHS 3 students. So after registration, if a child is unable to come to school to a number of times, that child could be prevented from writing the BEC. If one person falls a culprit and it is done, it serves as a deterrent for the...
This initiative is the first of its kind in the municipality. Esther Nkrumah's report read to you.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Asian African Consortium, Mrs. Adelaide Armah Japan, has stressed the need for an all-hands-on-deck approach to make the President's vision of boosting rice production in Ghana to become a reality. She made this disclosure during a business conference in Thailand. Mrs. Japan indicated that from the inception of the project till now, a lot of efforts have been put in by her outfit to making the dream a reality. There's more in the following report.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is heartwarming to mention that anywhere we have been, stakeholders, both in Ghana and Thailand, have shown great support and enthusiasm for this project, evidencing that the vision of ending rice importation in Ghana is beyond just one group of companies. We continue to implore all hands on deck to make this vision a reality. Consequently, I want to say that the forging of strategic partnerships with all sector players is fundamental for the success of this project. The Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to mention that a national rice office for the project has been set up in Accra and fully finished. 3 zonal offices in Koforidua, Kumasi and Tamale for the southern, middle and northern belts respectively will also be ready soon for the project. Adequate and suitable lands have been acquired across the country and ready for cultivation. As we all join hands to make history, it is my hope that this visit will help concretize and firm up the plans for implementation as soon as we get back to Ghana.
Well, speaking at the function, Ghana's Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture in charge of crops, Yao Ado Frimpong, encouraged investors in the Thailand rice value chain to come together and invest more in Ghana.
There's so much in terms of marketing in our neighboring countries, that whatever we produce will be absorbed there. And we will still require the Thai rice, because there are people in Ghana who has acquired the taste for Thai rice that no matter what we do, they will still consume Thai rice. So that line of trade will still be there. We want to satisfy our local consumption gap and then extend it to our neighbors. And when companies here support JOSPON to meet that target, that's where the win-win situation is, because these companies are also going to be beneficiaries of whatever we produce in excess that we will send to our neighboring countries. So there's nothing to fear.
Now, health practitioners at the Bawku sub-district of the Wa municipality say that the lack of electricity, portable drinking water and toiletries is negatively impacting on service delivery. Various speakers at the review conference held by the sub-district lamented the poor state of health and therefore called on government and other benevolent parties to help address the issue. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafik Salam has more in this report.
All major stakeholders in the health sector in the Bawku sub-district were brought together for the health review conference aimed at looking at the achievements and challenges of the area with a view to finding solutions to them. The Bawku sub-district comprised of 3 electoral areas, namely Bawku, Danko, Pisising, and Boli. It has a total population of a little over 19,000 people. The review conference for the Bawku sub-district arguably is the first to be held in the municipality, for that matter, the region. It's coming on the heels of the World Municipal Review Health Conference held a couple of weeks ago. The objective of the two conferences are the same, but the former is to give more opportunity to their chiefs compounds and mother sub to tell their stories, challenges, best practices, key priority areas, and their plan for the succeeding year. Acting in charge of Bawku sub-district, Judith Bawku noted that as a result of population growth and urbanization, together with environmental and other changes, there is an experience of social transformation globally. It therefore requires a drastic shift from the normal ways of doing things to keep clients and the municipality healthy.
In focusing on attitudinal measures, we are considering championing healthy lifestyles as a critical area of our health promotion going forward. That is eating right and physical exercising. These have great values to reduce illnesses.
Eunice Bawku spoke of the achievements chalked by the sub-district.
The sub-district exceeded its target of polio vaccine 1, also known as OPV1, from 77.7% in 2021 to 93.2% in 2022. With OPD2, our same target exceeded from 98.1% in 2021 to 101% in 2022 under the year of review.
That is what my health volunteer.
The main road leading to the facility, and you can see if it rains, how will you go? Now, can
It's actually affecting healthcare delivery in our sub-district, because if, like the road, for instance, that is bad, you won't get pregnant mothers coming to the facility to deliver. Of course, the toiletries I'm talking about, when a mother comes to deliver, or a patient that is even detained and wants to probably go to, ease him or herself, you see that it becomes a problem. The staffing, for instance, the midwives, we all know that midwives are people who deliver our pregnant mothers. Once they are limited, it poses a challenge for us. The community health nurses, as we are talking about, they are people who go into the community to educate the community on preventable diseases. Once we have them in short supply, it also becomes a problem for us. Of course, the new one is better, but it's a disincentive, because all the challenges I have mentioned is actually having a toll and an effect on us.
A public health nurse at the One Municipal Health Directorate, Georgina Benkumuni, who represented the One Municipal Director of Health Services, Alex Bapula, called on the One Municipal Assembly and other benevolent community members to help fix the challenges at the old Bamao post office, now turned into a health center.
We know you are very influential people at the Assemble level. We are praying that you use all the powers be to help us renovate the health center, help us get a regular water supply to the facility. Health cannot work without water supply. And the facility currently, they are buying water. How much do they generate to be buying water every month to provide health services to our people?
Parent of the Bamao sub-district, Cletus Abosum, urged the nurses to work as a team to enable them give quality health care to the people.
For this particular team, it is a wake-up call for everybody within the community. As health workers, we must ensure that whatever we are tasked to do, we ensure that we do it to the best of our ability.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Let's take a breather at this point. The bulletin continues shortly. Thanks for your patience. The bulletin continues. Now, an agribusiness consultant, Dr. Abu Sakara, has called on the youth to focus more on entrepreneurship ahead of politics. According to him, entrepreneurship provides more avenues for growth and productivity, which can have a greater impact on the fortunes of the country. He was speaking at a showcase event organized by the Innovation for African University.
Entrepreneurship is a means of driving growth and development in the country, but many youth find it lucrative to pursue political careers over entrepreneurship as the world continues to grapple with numerous social and economic challenges. An agribusiness consultant and chairman of Sakfos Holdings Limited, Dr. Abu Sakara, says entrepreneurship offers more opportunities for creativity and innovation as well as financial success.
This has always been Africa's dream, but we have not always pursued it in the right way. If you look at the distribution of people, young people, the kind of jobs they want, the first group will want to go into politics. It doesn't create anything. It just consumes things. Yeah? How many are going into industry? How many are going to innovative technology? That is where we need our best brains.
Dr. Sakar charged government to invest much in infrastructure to compete with the Western countries.
Some of the problems we have are simply that we have not sequenced our investment in infrastructure in the right way so that it grows like a pyramid, where the basic things are done broadly, and then as investment goes, it peaks. But if you start at the top and you want to go on a very narrow base to the top, it becomes very difficult. So we have to be in a position where we're thinking about those universities in a very different way. But there is the age-old problem where people go to universities to learn, to get a degree because they think a job is waiting for them. That era is gone.
Regional Director of Higher Education Programs for Sub-Saharan Africa at the British Council, Adetomi Soyinka, indicated that long-term change can happen through innovation.
Our targets, now that we've finished, what we would like to do is to take the data, insights and learning from that and take it back to the government to say, it works, and this is how it works, and this is how partnerships should be done. And for the things that didn't work, also share it with government so that they are aware of that, and they won't go through pitfalls of trying to, use similar processes that don't work. So what we would like to see is, government taking that, imbibing that or embedding that, mainstreaming that information in their education systems and scaling, because that's the only way that impact and long-term change can actually happen.
Entrepreneurship has the potential to create jobs, drive innovation, and contribute to economic growth. A report by Prince Owusu-Ansah. Read to you.
Let's now turn our attention to the Ashanti region, where Live News checks have revealed that the Kumasi City Authority and managers of the KGTM market ignored warnings of systemic flaws and maintenance lapses, leading to a major fire outbreak at the market. Fire protection systems failed to suppress and fight the recent fire at the market, which destroyed several shops and goods worth millions of Ghana cedis. The document cited by Live News indicates that Brazilian company contractor, which constructed the market, wrote to the KMA and relevant authorities last year detailing systemic flaws and the need to keep emergency fire systems up to date. Lab FM's Erastus Asaredonko has been investigating the maintenance and managerial lapses and now files this report.
The old Central Market experienced a series of fire outbreaks. The need for a well-structured edifice capable of withstanding and suppressing fire gave birth to the new Kejitia Market. A quarter of the $248 million invested in the construction went into the installation of fire protection systems. But on Wednesday, March 15th, part of the new Kejitia Market was gutted by fire. Traders lost valuable items to the inferno.
500 million. Me met no na eja na kan nipa kwa na ewura me medie no ti ma pattern ma yesi tum me mani nyina na ne.
But how did the market, built on the idea of controlling fires, fail to control an outbreak? We set out to find answers. The fire defenses of the Kejitia Market have been designed to allow fire to be fought from within with the installation of smoke detectors to sniff out fires and sprinklers to suppress any outbreak. There are additionally 350 hose reel cabinets fitted with hose reels operated from a central fire pump designed to supply controllable volumes of water to fight fire. In each of these 350 cabinets is installed a fire extinguisher to deal with any eventuality.
So this is a hose reel cabinet, and in here, contractor, I mean the Brazilian company that constructed this building, thought it wise that this will be another port of call to fight fire. Now inside this cabinet, when I close this door, you can see the fire extinguisher sign here, indicating that there was a fire extinguisher fixed here. And there are instructions on how to use the fire extinguisher. Pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze trigger, sweep. If that is not working for you, they thought it wise. This hose reel, in the event of fire, people are trained to pull the hose reel out like that, and then you have a high pressure hose reel that can go up to a mile, can shoot water and be able to fight the fire.
One of the first respondents to Wednesday's fire was Secretary to the Federation of Kumasi Traders, Rubin Armah. He tells Love News he pulled the hose reel, but there was no water in it.
So I called the chief fire officer to switch on the pressure pump for us, so that we could use that to douse the fire, because that's the last point of resort, which is the fire hose system, which represents the tender machine fire has been using. It took them 15 minutes for the pressure pump to come on. By the time the pressure pump came on, we had the first 3 blasts, and smoke was all over.
An inspection of the operating premises of the Kejitia Market during March and April 2022 by the contractor revealed market managers had switched off the fire pumps designed to stay on 24 hours due to a leakage that should have been fixed. Public Relations Officer for the Combined Traders Association, Andrews Kofi, confirms this.
Everything that is possible to quench fire is not working.
The report, which was submitted to the KMA and relevant authorities in 2022 for action, also found that smoke detectors were not working because market managers had failed to remove the manufacturer's cap, sealing the sensors.
Many of the smoke detectors still had their manufacturer's cap fitted on it. You can see one there, the blue cap is still on, and so it is obvious that it will never be able to detect any fire within this enclave. And I have found many of the smoke detectors all along this flat still fitted with their manufacturer's cap. So, in other words, the smoke detectors are sealed, zipped. They are not detecting anything.
Questions remain why fire officers at the market failed to detect this. Batteries for the panel of the detectors were also dead and had not been replaced. Traders had also blocked detection of fire by parking unused items on the metal mesh ceiling. Andrews Kofi again.
There are sprinklers which will automatically generate water to quench whatever fire it is. All these things are not working.
Our news team found that fire extinguishers that could have aided a swift first response to the fire are missing.
So there are about 350 of these hose reel cabinets scattered all across this market. We've checked more than half of them, all of them empty. Where are the fire extinguishers installed by the manufacturer in these cabinets?
We also saw evidence of cooking in the various shops contrary to instructions to restrict all cooking to a designated area. A situation found to have caused many of the fire outbreaks in the old Central Market. The fire service warned of possible fire outbreaks in its letters to city authorities last year. They also refused to renew the fire certificate for the market. The facility has since been operating without insurance, as corroborated by Andrews Kofi.
We pay 51,557.48 pesos as insurance. With insurance, they don't have even fire certificate to go for.
But you're still paying this amount of money?
Where is the money?
The report by contractor submitted to the KMA for action found that guidelines enshrined in the operation and maintenance manual handed over at the conclusion of the project were not carried out. But for the fire-resistant cement board, insulation membranes, and fire-resistant paints coating the steel structures, fire could have spread to many shops.
So if you have invested $248 million in an edifice, wouldn't you go to every mile to ensure that that edifice is protected against any destruction? That is the story of the Kejetia market.
As traders resume trading in the market, many of these system lapses still remain unresolved. A stitch in time saves 9. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Meanwhile, former Trade Minister Alan Kojo-Tremantin has donated a total of 100,000 Ghana cedis to the affected victims. The aspiring NPP flag bearer made the donation during a visit to the scene where about 33 shops were razed down by fire last week. In his interaction with the affected traders, he also called on government to assist them in any way possible.
The aspiring flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Alan Kojo-Tremantin, handed over 100,000 Ghana cedis to leadership of the Traders Union during his visit to the Kejetia market to sympathize with traders. The recent fire destroyed 33 shops stocked with goods worth millions of Ghana cedis. Mr. Tremantin says he will continue to work hand in hand with leadership of the traders to ensure they access adequate support. I know the money you need to start business again is huge. Most of you don't even have money. I am aware, but since there's a disaster, we all have to contribute, not only government. So I am also giving out 100,000 Ghana cedis to support you.
We could 100,000 Ghana cedis.
He also appealed to the government to seek a loan to support the affected traders. I left office not long ago, but I will plead with government to find a way to secure a loan to help affected victims. Leadership of the traders union and some traders appreciated the gesture of Mr. Chemantin. However, leadership of the traders union also called on government to begin the reconstruction of the second phase of the Kejetia market. The second phase of the Kejetia market has been abandoned, and we don't know why. We plead that you tell government that this won't help the NPP party.
Yes, we're drawing the curtains on this afternoon's bulletin. For more news, log on to www.myjoyonline.com. Do have a pleasant afternoon. Bye-bye.